Session 305, Chapter 2, verses 276 and 277. God blights usury, but blesses charitable deeds with multiple increases. He does not love the ungrateful sinner. Chapter 2, verse 276. The word usury is translated from the Arabic origin reba, which means to grow. Allah is warning you not to be deceived by the name. Just like in the English language, the word interest may deceive you into believing that dealing in usury is to your benefit. Superficially, it may seem that earning interest or reba increases your money, while giving charity or paying almsgiving decreases it. But the truth is quite different. God says, God blights usury, but blesses charitable deeds with multiple increases. He does not love the ungrateful sinner. Chapter 2, verse 276. The word blights means to wither. In other words, if you deal in interest, God will not suddenly erase your wealth. Rather, He will gradually take it away. He, the All-Wise, will open door after door of expenses and troubles that will constantly drain your finances. You may think that you are rich, but you are blind to the countless road bumps ahead. God says, what you give with usurious intent, aiming to get back a greater amount from people's wealth, does not become greater with Allah. But anything you give in almsgiving, seeking the face of Allah, all who do that will get back in multiples. Chapter 30, verse 39. Take note that God mentioned multiples, meaning many times over. Here, I would like to remind you that when you hear of someone doing an action, you have to realize that the action is proportional to the doer. For example, if I tell you that my 2-year-old son is angry and coming to hit you, you would feel differently than if I told you that the world heavyweight champion boxer is mad and coming to hit you. Similarly, if the one who is promising you multiples back on your investment is God Almighty, you should expect a reward befitting the All-Generous. And if the warning that your wealth will be wiped out is coming from God Almighty, then rest assured, you will have nothing left. Always remember that God blights usury, but blesses charitable deeds with multiple increases, is part of the noble Quran. It is a miracle brought forth to support the message of Muhammad till the end of time. It is as true today as it was the day it was revealed. God Almighty made it part of His doctrine. Would God have mentioned it and included it in the Quran if it was not true at all times? God says, we have sent down the Quran ourselves, and we ourselves will preserve it. Chapter 15, verse 9. Part of preserving the Quran is preserving what it stands for. God will afflict the wealth of every person who deals in interest until the end of time. The verse ends with, He does not love the ungrateful sinner, translated from the Arabic origin, kafar athim, both in the exaggerated superlative form. Why the exaggeration? We answer that the sin of usury is a double sin, because it involves the sin of usurious dealing and the sin of claiming that trade is the same as usury. The sin of usury is also a compound sin because it tears the fabric of society at its core. The poor are victimized by the rich. But do not get too caught up with the ugliness of this sin. Take a moment to consider the beauty of virtue. God says in the very next verse of the cow, those who believe, do good deeds, keep up the prayer, and pay the prescribed alms will have their wage with the Lord. No fear for them, nor will they grieve. Chapter 2, verse 277. The word wage should give us some insight into the reward of the believer, because a wage is usually given for work and effort. When you buy something, you pay a price, not a wage. You give a wage to someone who does work for you. So why is Allah giving you a wage for your work, not a price for what you donated? We answer that when you work, you use your intellect, which is a gift from God. You use your hands and tools, which are also granted by God. Whether you farm the land, work at a factory, or on a computer, you are using materials made available to you by God. In other words, God owes you nothing for the materials you use or produce. He, the All-Wise, will give you a very generous wage for your work. Your fellow man pays you a price for a product, but your Creator, who owns everything in existence, rewards your effort. Here is a further guarantee that you will be handsomely rewarded. The verse states that you will have your wage with your Lord. If a boss owes you money for work, he or she may not pay, may pay you less, or he or she may die before paying. God, on the other hand, is the all-generous, all-giving, and ever-living. You have absolutely nothing to worry about. He says, those who believe, do good deeds, keep up the prayer, and pay the prescribed alms, will have their wage with their Lord. No fear for them, nor will they grieve.
The messenger said, My Lord, my people treat this Quran as something to be ignored. Chapter 25, verse 30. Do not abandon God's book. Please take a moment to subscribe and to share with your family and friends. Visit us at www.QURANGARDEN.com.